Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And before I get started with the topic today is the difference between wishful thinking and reality. That's where it started. So we're going to see where it goes because I'm not quite sure. But I wanted to just put out a reminder that of why I do the podcast. I sit here and record myself because I know that there are other people struggling and they don't want anybody to know. They don't want to talk about it. If they confide in somebody else, they don't want that person to talk about it. Because it's sometimes what's wrong with us is something that we're shameful of. Other times it's just nobody's business. And I wanted to have a place where somebody can go and listen to not expert advice about how to live and how to work through challenges. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is talk about how I'm trying to figure out how to live out loud. I'm trying to be someone that doesn't have to keep it a secret. Because honestly, when I lost my career due to my medical retirement, my disability, I honestly thought, what else do I have to lose? I felt like I don't have anything to lose. I need to talk about the pain because it was so devastating for me to have gotten to a point where I had fixed my life. I gave up alcohol. I went all in, just all into recovery and working my sobriety program. And I was being rewarded for it. I was being rewarded for the hard work. I had a network of people, friends. My family was so proud of me. My boss could see how much I put in to do the right thing at work and in my life. And then I had a stroke and it was all gone. I tried to hold on to it for 2 years, but my pain and discomfort was so overwhelming that I couldn't do it anymore. And I literally had to shut my computer and that was it. I couldn't look at devices anymore. It was really painful, physically and emotionally. And I needed help. I feel like I took longer than I should have to see a psychiatrist because I felt like I had the tools. I had done sobriety and I had the tools that it took to rebuild my life again. I felt like I wanted to be the voice for people who were afraid to talk about what was wrong, or couldn't talk about what was wrong for various reasons. I wanted to use my voice because I didn't have a lot more than that at the time. I had lost my ability to do anything on the computer visually. So I thought all I have left is to speak, to literally to speak. And that was almost taken from me too, because that was the sign that I was having a stroke, that what I was thinking, I could not articulate. I could not form the words with my mouth that I was thinking in my head. So I was that close to not being able to use my voice to share my experience, strength, and hope. So it really stressed the importance to me of using it because I can. Because over the course of the few years since my stroke that I've been doing research and connecting with other stroke survivors, there are so many of us who cannot express their thoughts the way that they did before their stroke. And because I can, I feel compelled to do so. I say a lot that everybody is recovering in some way. And that's why I share my day-to-day experience. That's why I come here every single day. Yes, I've missed a couple days for various reasons. But I come here every day because it's so important to highlight the fact that recovery is every day for the rest of my life. It was every day when I was in sobriety. Excuse me, I'm still in sobriety, but it's every day also in stroke recovery. I don't have a day that goes by that I don't have to work on getting, I don't know, good with, accepting that I'm a recovering alcoholic and a stroke survivor. I don't have a day that goes by that I feel fine. I haven't felt fine since my stroke in June of 2021. I have not had a single day that I felt that you could ask me and I could say, I feel fine. That hasn't been the case. And if you can imagine what that feels like to wake up in the morning and know what's ahead of you, to know that if things become too overwhelming, you need to shut your eyes. When your husband is talking to you and your eyes and your brain get tired, just stare. Don't look at him. Like, it's a lot. And I don't give myself enough credit really for getting out of bed and facing that every day because there is no other option for me. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that, if not just for my own like realignment for my purpose and why I'm doing this. I think one reason why I wanted to say this is because one of my meetings, the topic was anonymity. And I shared in that meeting that I've chosen to not be anonymous as far as being a recovering alcoholic. And the reason why I've chosen that for myself is, again, I didn't share this in the meeting, but when I lost my job, I didn't feel like I had anything else to lose. Like when I lost my job, I felt like I don't represent that company anymore. So I can talk about what's really going on. Before I was representing the company and I wouldn't have talked about this stuff because who knows how it's going to come across to the company. And I didn't want to chance that. But as soon as I stopped working for them, I thought, I have to do this. I have to represent. I have to share what's going on because it's so hard to deal with it, and it's so hard to find answers. Um, it's a tough way to go. It really is. It's really a challenge. But I'm not the only one that's challenged with things in everyday life. And but I am, I think, unique in sharing about it on a daily basis. So that's why I'm here, because I want to touch other people who are looking for a way to connect with somebody else that might understand. You don't even have to talk to me. You don't have to reach out to me, nothing. If you want to, you can listen to how I'm trying to figure it out. If you don't want to, find somebody, find something else to listen to, you know? It's just, it's keeping me hopeful and joyous and serene. And and that is one benefit. The other benefit is that once in a while I get somebody reaching out to me telling me that I have become a part of their daily routine. And that is like, that blows me away that you have welcomed me into your life. And I hope that I hope that I'm adding value in some way. So, and I wanted to say thank you for that. So the topic, the difference between wishful thinking and reality. Um, so this morning, there were various things. We read the second half of step 12 in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And there's lots of different topics in there. But I took notes of some things that really hit home to me. And one of them was the difference between wishful thinking and reality. Like when I used to drink and I was working, I had this grandiose image of what I was going to become, what I was going to become and what I was going to do for the company that I worked for. That I was going to make them millions and that they were going to put me on a pedestal. That company that I worked for was owned by my dad, and my brother was the CEO. And I wanted to make them proud. I wanted to be their best employee. I wanted to be something that they didn't know that I was. You know, I had these grandiose ideas. It was wishful thinking. It was not realistic for me to come in and think that I'm going to make this big, gigantic impact. It just rarely happens that way. um, but the wishful thinking part was that I wasn't doing the work to, I mean, that's not true. I was working really hard, but as time went by, I was starting to prioritize my drinking, and I was not working nonstop like my brother and my dad were. It was a job. At the end of the day, it was a job. So I wanted to become great at something that was just a job to me. And I thought I was working harder than anybody else, you know, but I wasn't. I wasn't, unfortunately. And part of our reading this morning was talking about, I love this part of the reading. It says, it always stands out to me that boys want to become the number one man. Boys want to become president. And that always stands out to me because my son wanted to become president. He wanted to be president, and he knew all the presidents' names in order, their wives, what year they were born, like everything about these presidents. And I even had this like president's game that I bought him, and his grandpa was so proud of him for being so smart. And then September 11th happened, and he told me one night before bed, he said, I don't want to be president anymore. And that broke my heart. It broke my heart because it was the beginning of him seeing how hard the world is. That dreams can be wishful thinking. Dreams, I feel like it drew a wedge between him and dreams. That's what I felt like. Um, but he started new dreams. He started new dreams that were, in his mind, a little more right-sized for him. And to this day, his dreams still exist for being a musician, and that's what he's doing. That's where he puts his work in, and he works hard for this dream. He does. He non-stop. I'm telling you, non-stop. If he is not working at his other job, he is putting in work for his music. That's just what he does. And it's fascinating to see how much work, passion can make you do. I believe that my dreams now are right-sized for me. I still and probably always will have childish dreams, like wishful thinking, I suppose. But the longer I live, I think the more realistic my dreams become and the more achievable they are. I feel like my dreams are not something I don't have to work for, but they are something that I can still achieve. I feel like I have shifted in my mindset over the past year and a half. How long have I not been working now? 2 years? I think it's been one. Sorry, we're gonna have to think together for a second. So, yeah, I'm on season 3. So it's been over 2 years. Yeah, I can know by the seasons of the podcast. So, um, for 2 years now, I feel like my dream, my dreams that always correlated with being praised by other people have shifted to something that is rewarding in a way that I didn't know I could feel. I didn't know that I could feel so much reward by focusing on something outside of myself. Um, I don't feel so much like I need to be a distinguished member of some industry. Um, I feel like a contributor. I feel like I want to be a human being among human beings. Like, I see that I feel freer when I don't put those grand restrictions around what I have to do and what I have to become. So, another idea that came up this morning was the idea of us building our own self-constructed prison. And this was really interesting as I listened to other people sharing about this idea of a self-constructed prison. It's like I would have this wishful thinking, this dream of what I wanted to achieve. And then these walls just started coming up around me where I could identify what was never going to happen for me. I don't know if this is going to make sense, but um, the more that I had that grandiose dream, and the more that I was disappointed, I came to be building these walls around myself. And it was everyone else's fault about why I was disappointed. I was disappointed with other people's reactions to my hard work. And if they didn't give me the reaction that I needed, another wall would go up for my prison. And this morning I thought, yeah, it's like you hand the key. And I think somebody either said this or something similar to this, that I handed the key over to somebody else. Like I built these walls of this prison around myself, and then I threw the key through the bars to somebody else and just left myself in there. Um, I did an episode a while back on true ambition. Um, and to me, true ambition starts by taking responsibility for my actions and being honest with myself about what work I'm willing to do. I think that's what is the difference between realistic goals and wishful thinking. True ambition and dreaming of what will be, but never putting the work in. Like, I need to look inward and be like, okay, so you want to be a VP, Rachel? Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to do this? I can't just close my eyes to the work and jump forward into what it is that I want. Um, with the podcast, and I talked to a couple other people about this. With the podcast, I think in the very beginning, I thought, oh, it'd be so cool if I become like, if it goes viral. Um, and then as I probably just in the first month, as I tried to record and I'm trying to manage like getting these online when I could barely even look at my computer. I was like, kind of, for those of you who look at the YouTube video, or if you use Spotify and you actually see the video of me for the podcast episode, I'm always looking over the computer or I'm looking to the left. I'm not looking at the computer. And in the beginning, when I was uploading these to the computer, um, I had to look at the computer, but it was so bothersome that I would kind of just glance at it and then look away. And when I when I really owned up to like, what are you capable of? Um, I recognized that the purpose of my podcast needs to always stay in the forefront of my mind. It's not to become viral. My purpose, and I told my husband this in the very beginning, was I want to help one person, just one. I want to help one person that can benefit from my pain so that not just I grow from it. I want another person to grow from my pain. And if I achieve that, then I've done what I came to do. Um, and it's easy to forget that. Like whenever I get a new follower on one of the various platforms that I'm on, I get so excited because it's so flattering that somebody wants to listen. It's just to listen to me run my mouth. It is. It's very rewarding. And I have to remember that that person, hopefully I help that person because that's what it's all about. It's not about me becoming popular. It's about there's another person following me. I hope I help them, you know? And so I have to right size myself all the time. Um, I have to, and I heard somebody say this, or else it was in the reading, no idea, it's all a blur. But see the magic in ordinary days. To me, that means see the joy in the small little pieces of like good things that happen, which for me is like I got a follower. Like that's super exciting. Um, my dog just learned how to get out of like if she tries to walk in front of me on the ice because it's still icy outside, she knows she needs to stop and get behind me and let me go first. So, and I'm like, that's really cool. So I have to see that kind of magic in ordinary days so that I can recognize that these small little things in my life are gifts because I I'm going to be really disappointed in myself if I keep these grandiose dreams to be something that I can't achieve, to not be true ambition, to not be realistic. When I was drinking, I wanted to be the best and I wanted to crawl under my covers at the same time. And that doesn't make any, it's never going to happen, you know? I had wishful thinking that was built around just absolute fear. Just absolute fear wrapped in wishful thinking. It's bizarre, but that's how sick my disease makes me. Um, but my fellowships, my meetings, my support groups, and you all, just when you click play, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to articulate and thank you for clicking play because every time someone pushes play on my podcast episode, I feel like I have a place as a human being among human beings. I feel like I am working towards what is possible, and that is that I'm going to help another person with learn from my pain. And that's realistic. It's realistic if I'm willing to show up. And yeah, I go overboard. I show up every day, but I have to do that for myself. I do. Um, I'd like to say that I show up every day for you. Um, But the honest truth is that I have to show up to live. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for showing up for me and showing up for yourself. That's all I got. I'll talk to you tomorrow.